Welcome back to Photo Finish Garage. Thanks for coming back. We're actually going to be working on a 2013 Ford Edge Sport. This has the 3.7 liter V6. We are going to be repairing the belt tensioner, and I'll show you exactly why. All right. You might not be able to hear it right now, but there is a squeak. There is a squeak, and that squeak and squeal is pretty pronounced on startup. So I've tracked it down to that tensioner. Alrighty, hang on one second. So in order to repair this, I actually bought this kit off rockauto.com. I believe this was $84 before shipping. The tensioner itself was $64, and then both belts were another, $30. So it was cheaper just to get this kit. This kit is part number 90K38485B. All right, so let me get it opened up so you can see the contents. All right, so inside our kit, we're gonna have two belts. One is gonna be around the alternator and AC compressor crankshaft pulley, and then the other one's going to be our stretch fit, which is going to go around our power steering pump. And here it is. This is our Gates product. OEM was very similar in pricing. I just could not obtain the OEM part quick enough, so I went with Gates, which I know to be a great manufacturer. So you can see that's our stretch fit belt. There is going to be an installation tool that you need that O'Reilly's and AutoZone rents out. I am not using it. I actually there's a couple of tricks that I saw online that I'm going to try to utilize today, and then worst case scenario, if I run into it, then I will go get the tool. But we're about quick repairs and efficient repairs here, okay? Alrighty, so let's come over and see what we got. So on our tensioner, we actually got 3 bolts that surround it. Let me see if I can point it out here. So you got one there, that's 2, and the third one's right there. Alright, so our first step is going to be to get this right front wheel off, because we are going to have to remove this fender liner so we can have better access down here to our crankshaft pulley. You don't need to jack up both sides of the car like I did. I'm actually going to be also swapping out my brake pads as well. So just lift up your right side tire. You are going to need a size 19. All right, so we have our wheel off. Now we're just going to be working out this, trying to get this fender liner off. As you can see, it's a series of small bolts here. These are actually size 5.5 on the socket. Then you have your typical push pins, which you can remove with the regular trim remover tool, excuse me. And then, or a flathead. I'm going to be using a flathead. So we'll go ahead and get this off, and then we'll reassess. All right, so we got all of our clips and nuts out, or bolts out rather. There is one hiding right here, which was a size 5.5 as well. So we should be ready to remove our liner. Let's see here. Got one more back there. Okay, we got it off. Set that off to the side here. Okay, So this gives us a better view. Looks like I got me a nice little leak forming. I don't know exactly. Let's see where that's coming from. Possibly the valve covers. It's the first time I'm seeing this, so I'm not certain where that's coming from. I'll look into that. I might attempt a full timing job on this as well, so I'm not sure. But ultimately, this is where we are. There's our tensioner right there, right? And there's our 3 bolts. Those were the size, I believe they're size 8s. So we are going to need a 3/8 ratchet, and we're going to input it in this square right there. And that's how we're going to use it to articulate the tensioner to remove the tension off the belt. So let's do it. So I'm using an extended 3/8 ratchet, flex head as well. Let's see if I can get this on here. See if I got enough space. I might not have enough space to get in there. And actually, this is not my... Yeah. No, wait. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I got turned around here. So I might see if I can get in there. If I can't get in there, let's see. Oh, I think we got it. All right. I think we're getting it. Here we go. We locked in. Push it in a little bit. Let me get it locked in there. Hang on. Okay, I was able to get it in there. Luckily, I got that flex head because that does help with your angle on this. And so essentially, we're gonna pull. Oops. Oh, sorry. I'm pushing down. Nope, other way. I was right the first time. Jesus. All right. We're going to be pulling back towards the back of the vehicle. And ultimately lifting the tensioner off the belt. So this looks like it's going to be it's going to take both my arms to do this. So hang on one second. Okay. I got movement on the tensioner. I'm glad I'm replacing this because this doesn't really feel right. Feels snappy instead of like a smooth motion. So we're going to go ahead and get this off. So again, you're just pulling back, and then we'll walk this belt. We can walk it off our AC compressor, and then we can walk it off of our crankshaft pulley now. And then we'll walk it off of our, let's go ahead and get this off. Walk it off of our alternator up there. All right, so let's inspect the belt here. This belt, Motorcraft original, I don't know if it's the original belt or not. Let's see. One way to check your belt is you'll just open it up and look at your grooves. I don't see any cracking. Let's see. Yeah, the overall belt actually looks pretty good. So I might possibly hang on to this as a backup. Again, my main issue was really that tensioner. And to go through all this, I just figured I'd go ahead and replace both belts. And with the cost, you know, this entire kit was 80 something bucks versus the tensioner alone was 64 or 65. So I decided to just go ahead and just do everything while I'm here. I was going to wait to do both belts when I do the timing, but this was more pressing because the squeak and squeal was kind of more annoying than anything else. As far as getting this belt off, see this one, see that one has cracks in it. You can see that. You can see the little lines there. So our power steering belt is worn. We'll be replacing that. So there's a special tool to actually walk that belt off the pulley. I don't have that special tool. What I'm gonna do, let's see. What I'm gonna do is just probably cut this belt off. I'll just cut this belt off, and then the new one, I'll have to use some trickery in order to get it on there. It's no problem. No, we will document it. As far as the tensioner, let's get back to that. So we're gonna need a pretty slim ratchet with our size. I believe that's gonna be our size 8, but I'm double checking that. Hang on. All right, so I was correct. It is a size 8. I'm using my 1/4 inch drive and just gonna walk these bolts out, or loosen them and then walk them out by hand. Let's see. So I'm using a method of attack from above and below, whichever way. If I had a lift, I probably would consider doing all of this from the bottom, but so far things are working out pretty good. So let me get this second bolt. There we go. Oops. Let me get this last bolt off, loosen up, and then I'll walk them out by hand. I suppose if you had a slim ratchet, a slim electric ratchet, you could do it. If you had ratcheting wrenches, that probably would help as well. So, you know, whichever method works for you. 1 down, 2 to go. All right, we're gonna go for the third one here, which should be accessible. Okay, got it out. Got it out. And here it is. That's your tensioner. The pulley is usually with that bearing. See, you can hear that. I wish they just sold the pulley. I mean, maybe they do. See, I do see a part number on there, PA66GF40. So I mean, that's always an option. You could just replace the pulley, assuming that the spring mechanism is still good. You know, but if you have a worn out spring, then, you know, replacing the pulley is not going to do you any good. So let's go and compare this to our aftermarket part. All right, as far as comparison, I can see our design's a little bit different. Right here, right here. Let's see. Both have lift on there. I know Gates does make some parts. For instance, their cam phasers that they make are actually OEM. I don't know if that's the same with these tensioners, but you know, you can hear that nice and smooth, nice and noisy. So we're gonna go ahead and put the part in, and we're gonna keep rolling to the next thing. While I'm putting this back on, I did want to point out some stuff. I'm looking, it's actually not my valve cover gaskets that are leaking. I checked my power steering reservoir, and I can actually see it's low in there. And then I came over here and got a lot better angle. You know, if you just follow the leaks, you can see it's real heavy on this side, and it's just coming down the oil pan here. Initially, I thought it was my crankshaft seal, but if you look really close, Let's see. You can see the fluid pulling up right there on that bolt. Right here. It's pulling up, and if you look between the pulley right there, let's see if I can get this. It's really wet right there, so let's see if I can show you these bolts back there behind this axle. Let's see, those bolts there you go. Really wet back there too. So it's either the pressure line that's leaking, which is definitely possible. It's either the pressure line or the return line that's leaking. Super wet back there. So that'll be another video, it looks like. So you guys, if you have anything that's like that, it's probably could be your power steering pump leaking. All right, we're gonna get this power steering belt off. Just one little snip, be careful. Take that off. And as I mentioned, inspecting the belt here, let's see. There you go, you can see cracks, so it was already a wear item, you know, so I don't feel bad about cutting it off. All right, another Motorcraft part. So we'll go ahead and put our new one on today, and I'll have to source our power steering pump, possibly that line. I'm not even sure. Oh, I think this is our power steering line here. I think this is our pressure line based on the way that's traveling back there. I'm not certain though. So I'm gonna have to look into that repair and figure out how in the heck do you get that pump out of there with this very limited space. It doesn't look like something that comes out the top either. So I don't know. I have to look into that. But right now, we're gonna get our other belt on. All right, this is my second go at this. I have my zip ties tied around the pulley and around the belt, and I have the belt lined up. So the idea is get our size 18, rotate the crank shaft pulley, and this zip tie, hopefully they hold enough to walk the belt onto the pulley. So I'm gonna try to see if this works. I saw somebody put a piece of cloth right there to give it some traction, but I'm gonna see if this works. So this is where we are now. Got some tension on it, and it's hard to do it with two hands, so I'm gonna just show you incremental progress. All right guys, I've been at this for a while. I've tried this zip tie trick. I was gonna go get the special tool, but I couldn't find it in my local area. So I ended up finding a really good video on YouTube, and the gentleman used a worm clamp that you would, normally use on like a radiator. He used it in place of a zip tie, and I'm gonna show you. I pretty much got the belt started, and it's about to come around, and you'll see if I'm able to do this with one hand, which I don't think I'm going to be able to. Now let me get this on, and then I'll show you what I have. All right, that's my worm gear. I actually used, I hope my belt didn't get damaged, but I actually used that worm gear to hold the belt onto the pulley the same way the zip tie did it. So man, it's a pain to get this thing on here. I don't think the zip ties I had were strong enough, but the worm gear will work. Now you just use your small ratchet and try to get in there and undo that. There's a better view of the setup there.